The Galaxy S23 Ultra has just got the One UI 7 beta, and here is everything you need to know. Welcome back to SamMobile TV. You're here with Daniel, and today we are going to show you everything you need to know about One UI 7 and the Galaxy S23 Ultra. What looks new, what hasn't made it from the Galaxy S25, A56, and even the S24 Ultra's beta, and maybe what's different about them as well. Starting with how it all looks and feels. Well, it looks and feels as we know One UI 7 to be already. You've got the new notifications on the left, swipe across to get your new quick panel, swipe down from the top right to bring down the quick panel, expand the quick panel out, edit the way the quick panel looks with the little edit icon and the panel settings button at the top. That is exactly the same as it has been on all these other phones here on the table. S24 Ultra, A56, S25 Ultra. In terms of how it operates from a functionality level, looks pretty smooth to me. All those little bouncy animations that we've seen before on One UI 7 on some of the other phones are there. The other change is the app drawer. So when you swipe up, you get all of the vertical scrolling apps, which of course you are free to change should you want to with the 3 dots. You can change it to custom order, and then you can clean up the pages to make it be back to that way, and you can apply it like that. What will be consistent with both layouts is that the search icon will be down the bottom, which will make it easier to reach one-handed to sort of type in what it is you want to search for. Again, keeping it as the alphabetical order vertical swipe is sort of the native way One UI 7 forces you to be, as does the quick panel forces you to be like that. However, you can, of course, as I showed you, make them separate or together and go back to the old way. One UI 7 also is sort of known for bringing sort of customization. And when you go into the settings, you can see the home screen settings customization options are the same as they are on the S24 Ultra and the S25 Ultra. You've got the option to change the app size, the app labels, the widget labels. That's all the same as what it is currently on the other One UI 7 versions. The other One UI 7 stuff that has been pretty heavy on the S25 Ultra is Galaxy AI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually compare the two Galaxy AI menus sort of next to each other, so you can get a bit of a feel over hopefully what Samsung will bring, but also if they've brought anything at all. If we go into Galaxy AI here, and we sort of take a bit of a look at it next to each other, you can see at least at the top, they look the same. The call assist with the call transcripts has made its way to the S23 Ultra, but everything else there looks basically the same. Note assist, they've changed voice recorder to transcript assist over here, but not over here. Browsing assist has got read highlights allowed, which doesn't have on the S23 Ultra. Photo assist will have over here generative edit, sketch to image, and portrait studio. It does have sketch to image as part of the photo editor on the S23 Ultra, but for some reason it's just not showing in this menu. I'll take a look at it in closer detail when I go into a photo. Drawing assist has got a whole stack of new stuff here on the S25 Ultra. We'll see if it's come across to the S23. But then the other thing is you don't see audio eraser. You don't see photo ambient wallpaper. You don't see now brief yet. And there's still no sign of health assist, which is strange. I just imagined that would have been part of Samsung Health because it's really driven by the wearables that sort of drives that. So it'll be interesting to see whether things like audio eraser and now brief do come across to the S23 Ultra. As we've kind of hinted at before, or at least Samsung have hinted at, there's some things that require flagship processors, and they said like the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy. That's not to say that on the full version of One UI 7 we won't see it here, or maybe even in One UI 8 they might sort of bring it, but at least for now it's not here. To see if generative edit has been updated at all, we'll go into here, into a photo, and I'll click on the generative edit AI button. Whilst that's downloading, let's take a look, and let's just see if I can remove this chair. Already though, I can see that the Galaxy S25 Ultra has this auto select option, whereas it's not here on the S23 Ultra. But if I hit the chair on the S25 Ultra and hit remove, this one I've got an extra step, I've got to hold it down. If I hit generate here, they're not the same. They're still not the same generative edit. The S25 Ultra is, in my opinion, much more advanced at generative edit. You can even see that in the way it's sort of removed things on the floor here. So it's still not quite caught up. The other thing that will probably still be different is the sketch to image. You can see the AI select has come up, but I've hit sketch to image here and drawing assist here, vastly different experiences. Sketch to image on the S25 Ultra has got way more options, whereas it's literally just draw something on the S23 Ultra. So Samsung haven't updated it fully yet over here. The other thing to take a look at, not AI related, is the Now bar. Samsung introduced the Now bar on the S25 series, have expanded it to the A56, albeit with, in my opinion, one of the worst design Now bars of all time, especially when the fingerprint is on. And then I want to see how they've done it over here, because the reason why over here it's not working too great, largely I think aside from the fingerprint scanner, is the fact that the AMOLED panel over here is much different. When you take a look at always on display here, it's very, very interesting to see how things move around the screen. And because this isn't using the same tech as the S25 Ultra, I'm curious to see as to how they've done it. So I'll go to Now bar. You can see everything that's enabled for it. You've got media player, map, Samsung Health, interpreter, Samsung Notes, and emergency sharing. Interesting that I can't see voice recorder in there. I'm just going to assume it works anyway. So that's the one I'm going to test first. So if I go into find the voice recorder, there it is. It's going to go through its little activation station, hit record, and I'll get out of it. Interestingly enough, there's no live activity and there's no Now bar for it. Weird. Let's go into the settings to see maybe. No, voice recorder is missing from One UI 7 beta for the S23 Ultra. The media player is here, so I might launch Spotify to see the difference or see how it works. Because remember, Spotify and the media player isn't part of the Now bar here in terms of live activities. It's a separate toggle. So if I just put some music on, let's chuck on, again, turn the music down for no copyright. There we go. Let's just put a podcast on. So as you can see, the live activities are working and the album art or whatever the color of the podcast is there. Great. And then if I lock the screen and always on display comes on, it's the same. It doesn't sit central. I really don't understand how it's not sitting central. Again, I do understand it. The technology in displays is different, so it can't sit in the one spot in the same way that it can here. Hopefully it changes to micro move instead of the way it is there, because the way it is there is like, that's an eyesore. And then if I go and turn the display on, it centers it, and then I expand it and then it comes out. But when it's on always on display, again, now it's moved higher. Yeah, I don't like that. I really don't. It's a bit of a dampener, but the next thing to check out is the camera, because there's a lot that's on the S25 Ultra, and vlog recording in particular came to the S24 Ultra. I'm be curious to see if it's here on the S23 Ultra. So we'll launch the camera, and of course the first thing you immediately spot is the improved layout. Everything's kind of been moved into this bottom third section of the screen, and you've got way easier to control of things like the settings and controls. It's good to see. But the thing I'm most curious about above anything else is log video recording. So we'll dive into the settings. I'll go to advanced video options. Normally there's a dot here that alerts you that there's something new. And if I click on it, as expected, there is no log video recording here on the S23 Ultra in this version of the beta. It's a very curious thing to omit, but again, it's probably a lot down to optimizing it for the hardware that's on here, albeit you've got the same sensor, main sensor, especially here, here, and here. So there's no reason why it couldn't be put in. We'll have to wait and see for the full version of the software to see if it makes it. The other little thing is to sort of, I guess, really take a look at. You've got the battery icon, which is the full fat one in the top corner there. Some people will be disappointed by that. Again, it's much of a muchness for me. I really don't care. And then the charging animation. So if I turn on wireless power share over here, Give me a moment. There it is. And I'll use my S25 Ultra to charge my S23 Ultra. There's the charging animation. Oh, maybe it's got to be this way. Okay, let's try that again. That's a nice smooth transition, wasn't it? And then it segues its way back into it. Realistically, the last thing to check is animations, just to really dive into how it looks. And the general feel of it. I'm not this big one to sort of interrupt animations. I probably need to be a bit more forceful with it. But as you can see, once I actually start to do this properly, it's pretty good. Maybe I'll compare it to the S25 Ultra first and just sort of really compare the difference. I've got dynamic turned on here. That's not a fair comparison. Let's go compare to one. The A56. And then we'll bring in the S24 Ultra. About the same again. So that is One UI 7 mostly on the S23 Ultra. I think we can agree that as far as the experience goes, it looks like it's going to match the other phones that we have here pretty much seamlessly. Full version of One UI 7 is still anticipated to be April for the S24 series and slowly expanding out from there. When all the One UI 7 devices drop, you'll want to be here at SamMobile TV, so hit subscribe and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.